let's talk about what is life. We have to start things off clearly with the fact that you ask a big question on this album.
I do. I mean, and it's this quest I've been on, Wendy, for the last year, but also looking back, I feel I've been on this quest for at least a decade, trying to figure out what this all means. And of course, the volume on this question was turned up in a big way over the past 13 months. But I've been on a quest to find the answer to that question. What is life? What really is it? And I think I found some of the answers when it came to the song selection, the songwriting process, and everything that this record stands for.
Yeah, and clearly you can hear that with your first single, Make a Life, Not a Living. That's a big statement again right there. That really says a lot. And the song is so beautiful and well written and has that clear statement. But to top it off, the video involving your family and your home and seeing that kind of other side of you that we don't always get to see is really special as well.
Well, and I appreciate you saying that. And what I would say to that song is that it's a wonderful, it paints a wonderful picture of who I really am, the things I stand for, what really matters to me, and getting an opportunity to showcase my family and those that I love the most in the video was truly icing on the cake here, because this is a very, very important song for me. And Wendy, if you take it line by line, I believe a lot of people around the world, especially country fans in Canada, will be able to put a check mark by every line saying, yep, I agree.
Yeah, it's definitely a relatable song and a beautiful first single, especially when the question off the top is, what is life? So yeah, I love that this was the first single that you released. And speaking of family, there's a lot of kid involvement on this album that is just durable.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've got some little kind of segues in between songs with the kids giving you little love messages.
Oh, and I was so happy to include that. And I didn't know if that was something that maybe should just remain personal and just stay on my phone, or something that I could put out to the world and the universe. But as my family has been the single greatest support system for me, and I would do anything for them, I think that this album marks a brand new chapter. So this is an opportunity for me later on in life to be able to come back to this record and this chapter in life and say, this is what my kids were like at this point. And I'm really grateful that I'm able to maybe cement that now in stone, and it'll last forever, knowing that this is who they are, this is their little personalities, and bringing that to this record was a very, very unique thing. And I'm grateful that my record label let me do it.
Yeah, I love that. That's just a nice little touch there. But it's also great. Like you said, you're going to have this forever. It's a time capsule. But also you can torture your children with it later at their weddings. Perfect.
Well, hey, it's either that or they're going to look back on their teenage years. They're going to be like, Dad, why did you do this to me? I just hope that I have a really good answer at that time, especially Mila. You know, when she's 5 now, she's 5 going on 10. So when she's 10, she's going to be going on 15. And I just hope I have an opportunity to say, hey, kids, this is something that made your dad really, really proud. And I hope that they can look back on it with fond memories too.
No, they absolutely will. And again, I've said this to you before, and this is what I love about your writing and your albums, is that there's always something a little bit different to each one, and not necessarily just a different theme, but different things that you do. I mean, the Dave Mustaine of it all is always one that I love on previous records. And then, of course, we've had kind of the more pop and pop country songs, which drives me crazy. This album really feels like it gets back to your roots, and really is, again, a good time capsule of who you are. And one of the songs that I love so much is Die to Go Home.
Thank you. Well, that is one of the most important songs, if not, honestly, probably the most special song I've ever written, because I've never been that vulnerable before to truly talk about my past experience and some of the real difficulties in leaving home. A lot of people go through this, Wendy, that when they leave home and they go to college or they go to university, I was that guy who spun the tires of my truck. I didn't say, see you later. I said, see you never. And I couldn't wait to go to Nashville. I loved my farm, but I was done with it. I was just done with that lifestyle. I was done with my mom and my dad, and I just couldn't wait to get out. And isn't it interesting how often the grass isn't greener on the other side? A song by Travis Tritt called Where Corn Don't Grow is something that I think about and I kind of reference to a degree. And this is my own ode to that story. I couldn't wait to leave, and now I would die to get back home. I'm very lucky though. That farm is still there. And my wife and I actually were able to buy into the farm, and I'll be able to raise another generation of kids on that same piece of land. I feel very lucky.
Yeah, I'm gonna cry. Oh, that's so beautiful. But that, yeah, brings out a lot more behind that song. It's just such a great track. We also have an exclusive earworm that we're going to air on the Canadian Club, and that means something that it's going to get stuck in there so quick. And if Make a Life Not a Living hasn't already done that, then Sliding Your Way will.
Hey, I agree with you. That's why I recorded this one. It was a song that was written by Trey Land and Justin Wilson in Nashville. And I was writing with Justin for a previous record. And he said, check out this one that I just wrote. It'll never go anywhere, but check it out. And when I heard it, I said, dude, that could be a smash single. It brings all the great elements of 90s country back. It's an ode to Diamond Rio. And, I start walking your way. And I'm thinking to myself, somebody needs to do this. And he said, well, why don't you do it? And I said, well, maybe I will. He said, well, maybe you should. And I said, well, fine, then I will. So I recorded it. And here we are now, obviously a couple of years later. And the timing was right because the entire album is actually very serious. There's a lot of self-reflection in here. But one of the big things about life, and one of the true secrets, everybody's going to talk about it, is celebration. And sometimes not taking yourself so seriously. That's what this song is all about. It's pure, fun, loving. And can you imagine this song at like a Boots and Hearts? Like in front of 40,000 people, how much fun that's going to be? That's my thought.
It's a jam. It is a jam for sure. And I cannot wait to be there for that.
Me neither.
If we were to pick a flashback track, it's totally up to you. You could pick one of your own, but maybe there's something else as well that you'd like to kind of bring into play here. Any song that just brings you back right now.
This might be kind of out of left field, but I talk a lot about the personal experiences now. I've got the courage to talk about, those moments in my life that were very, very pivotal, and they really changed the outcome, or it might have changed my path. In 2008 or 9, I was 18, 19, and I got a call randomly from Paul Brandt. And I don't know how he got my number, and I don't even know why I answered it, because it said unknown name, unknown number. But I answered it, and it was Paul Brandt. And he said, I hear you're moving to Nashville. Before you go, I want to know if you'd be interested in maybe coming to my farm, and maybe we'll sit down, we'll have a visit, and we'll talk about the business. And, maybe I could give you a little bit of advice before you go. So we're talking about the Male Artist of the Year, Fans Choice Award winner, giving me a call to give me some advice before Nashville. So I went to his farm, and I remember looking around his farm, his incredible studio, and everything that he stood for. And he gave me a lot of courage going to Music City to be authentic, be genuine, stand in my power, speak my truth, and be who I really am. And don't get twisted or manipulated or turned into somebody that you're not. To a degree, I adjust. I adjust for what's best for me at that time. But now, 11, 12 years later, I'm coming back to my roots, to my own farm like Paul had. I'm coming back to Alberta. I'm Alberta bound with my family, living a life that Paul Brandt was living 10 years ago. This guy's one of my ultimate heroes in Canada. So if you don't mind, if I get to pick a flashback, I don't want to pick mine. I want to pick Paul's song. I want to pick Alberta Bound.
Done. I love that story. Great choice. And also we have a couple of other songs that we have time for to share throughout the weekend. And another one that is, again, I could go through every single one here, but Down to Earth is another beautiful track off this album. And I know there's a bit of a story behind that as well.
The story is that it was the first song that really got me out of funk, as I hold up air quotation marks. And as so many people are going through their own struggles and frustrations, especially with the most recent announcement, what I found is that I was able to cling to music. Granted, I didn't even want to pick up a guitar for a while. If I couldn't be on a stage, I didn't want to do a I don't know. I didn't want to do a live stream. I didn't want to go on Facebook. I didn't want to do any of that. Finally, I wrote with Eric Pasley, who wrote Barefoot Blue Jean Night, I Want to Be Your Friday Night, just a great Nashville songwriter. And I said, the only thing I care about right now, Eric, is getting back down to earth and just like putting my feet in the dirt and heading back to the farm and spending all this time there. And I kind of rattled, I vented to him, and he said, hold it, buddy. That's our concept for the song. You even said the title, Down to Earth. I want to get right back down to earth. And he started playing a melody. And within an hour, we wrote Down to Earth. And I'm so grateful the universe maybe rewarded me with this song and rewarded us. And we just let inspiration take us. I didn't think it would ever be a single. I didn't think it would go on a record. Yet it was something that resonated with my team and my family. So I'm grateful for Eric for hearing me vent and turning that into a song.
In an hour, musical therapy at its best.
I know. Could you imagine how much money I would have had to spend with my psychiatrist? And yet Eric and I just wrote this for free and had a cocktail on a Zoom call. Like, I mean, that's the way to do it.
That is the way to do it. We have time for one more that we can feature. And I want to go out again with another one that's, a little bit of a jam on this album as well. And that is Night in the Life. So we went into the studio with my band, and my band played on this record. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of my friendship with Bart McKay, who has done every record from Started with a Song now to this one, What is Life? Night in the Life was a song written by Jonathan Singleton, who does a lot of work with Luke Combs. He wrote We Were That Song, Airwaves. And I went into the studio with the boys in the band, and we talked about Boots and Hearts. We talked about the Big Valley Jamboree, Havelock, Cavendish, Dauphin. We talked about the Calgary Stampede, Rockin' River Fest, all the great festivals we've played. And I said, how can we make this song sound amazing for the stage? This is what every small town person lives, eats, sleeps, and breathes a song like this. How do we make it sound great for the stage? And so we would watch footage of our recap videos. We would watch live footage of the great bands we love, like the Eagles, and their guitar harmony with Joe Walsh and Don Felder. And we decided to implement a double guitar solo in this song so it would sound epic in an arena or a festival. So we put this song out into the universe, Wendy, so that way we could like plant a flag in the ground saying, live music is going to come back. And this is the first song we're going to play in the set list. Oh, nice. Oh, I love that. But you know what? You said it's a song for the stage, but it sounds so epic on this album as well. So
thank you.
Another one I can't wait to see live. Brett, thank you so much for covering off some of these great tracks. I know everybody is absolutely in love with this album. You should be so very proud of it. As always, I love that you pour your heart and soul into everything you do, and you can truly hear it on every single track here. So congratulations.
That means the world. What a great compliment, Wendy. Thank you.